Hello Greebos and welcome back to Downloadable Content. Today we are going to be taking a look at the awesome new news that just dropped about the U11 update for Blade and Sorcery. If you missed it, this came out late or early, depending on your time zone, yesterday, and it gives a breakdown of what can be expected in U11. So without further ado, let's dive in and take a look. There are a lot of things to cover and so many amazing quality of life and gameplay updates that are coming down the pipe. I just want to say a special note that there is no known release date for U11, but we're here to build some hype. Let's look at the first part of the update, and that is going to be the stealth system. I think what's really cool is that they were surprised to see how much players love stealth, right? I don't think it's any secret that people love stealth games, and with Blade and Sorcery, it was like a surprise feature for us to get in U10, and they're like, whoa, people love this, let's make it even better. Let's look at this bottom paragraph right here, the big stealth improvements. So they're saying the AI can become more aware when being touched. So I don't know if you guys notice, I'm sure everyone does notice, but when an enemy's turned around and you're poking them and punching them in the back of the head and U10, they don't notice you because it's line of sight. So now, like when they're being touched or a weapon or an object is thrown in front of them or near them, even using telekinesis, they will be like, what's that over there? Like they won't think it's the wind anymore. And one of my favorite ones is if they find a dead body or spot a light from a torch, they're going to be able to see what's going on. So you can definitely do some misdirections, stab a body, throw them from the roof in front of their friends. They're gonna freak out and be like, oh my God, it's Ricky. And you're gonna be able to do some cool, normal stealth stuff. They're updating their field of view, so sight is now based on light level, crouching. So a player in the dark is obviously much harder to spot than one that's standing in the light. And look, they want you to hide bodies in the dark so they don't see them. That's so cool. I mean, come on, hiding the bodies, like we're all serial killers at this point, so that's dope. The AI is also going to be reacting to more noises while in stealth, so it's not just footsteps and lightsabers being turned on. Like when you're banging on something, like look at this GIF down here. The man bangs on his shield. Ready? Bang, bang, bang. What's that over there? Like, come on, I'm so excited. But here is my favorite part for the stealth update, right here. They say, of course, this means they'll be alert if an ally is yelling. But to counter this, here's something fun. Look. You can grab them by the mouth on their face for not just the memes. I mean, the memes, of course, but you can grab them and muffle their screaming. Muffle them. Guys, come on. That's not just amazing. I'm just thinking about what mods they can do. Like, someone's gonna make a muffle while choking mod. Like, you're holding their mouth and nose, and the guy's like, I can't breathe, dude, I can't breathe. And they pass out like that. Ugh. But also, people are gonna be going, arg, while being stealth killed. So, you know, if you're slitting throats and snapping necks, you know, their friend next to them is gonna be like, duh, oh well, like, oh. No problem. The next part of the coming update is magic, but there's not like a huge thing right now. So let's go over what they're talking about. Right out the gate, they're saying, unfortunately, not a huge amount of preview for magic right now because it's heavily a work in progress, But they want to add things like missing effects and all that type of stuff. But the good thing is they're reintroducing the concept of the soul. However, they're pushing that towards U12. So it's interesting that it's in a U11 kind of teaser, but they're still saying like, hey, the soul spell is still in development, but we want to tell you about it. However, focusing back on the current, they're going to flesh out the current spells like gravity, to be more like gravity, which has multiple functions. So imagine fireballs and lightning having merge effects, staff effects, right? The staff currently just shoots out a fireball or does gravity slam, but what does it do with lightning? So this is what they're working on with magics to add better functions for staff effects, merge effects. That's exciting also because it's Blade and Sorcery. And we're really just getting the Blade part of it right now and not so much of the Sorcery. So it's good to see that we're getting more Sorcery. But let's take a look at the gift that they gave us, right? Look, he's jumping with the gravity spell, and he's floating like Iron Man. I mean, how has the modding community not even thought about this for the gravity spell? But I digress. It's awesome that this is going to be a mainstay in the base game, and it just makes me excited to see where the developers' mind is going when they're with their own base game. Super stoked for this. Next up is the apparel system, so we can all be the fashionistas that we deserve to be. What they're saying is the work has begun for the new system of wearing clothes, which is going to be a huge and important aspect of the Crystal Hunt mode that's introducing a shop where players can purchase things. And it looks like in a full release of Blade and Sorcery, we're gonna have more of a shop and UI to kind of customize your things from. But as a precursor to that is they're saying, hey, this is how you get the items and clothes right now. You're gonna get them from the book. And I just wanna point something out just from the GIF that they're showing us right here. The clothes have like simulated weight. So look when he puts that on that dresser there, it's like, whoop, that's weighted clothes. I mean, can I use that as an item? Can I throw that at an NPC? Like, can I take the NPC's clothes from them? Little Husky, if you're out there, I know that you will work on this mod. You will make, you will give us the ability to remove the NPC's clothes while fighting them. Like while looting them, you're like, let's take off this shoe. Let's take off the shirt. So and look how simple it is to put the armor on your body. You're literally just taking it and you're plopping it right on there. So that's exciting. Great quality of life. I wonder how it comes off. I hope it's just that you put another piece on top of it, because if you can grab it also, that's going to make some wonkiness. You might accidentally remove a piece of armor. But the awesome thing is the armor pieces are segmented, so you can fashion souls your way through this and make you want to look however you want to look. Put a leather gauntlet on with the left piece. You just want to have like a gauntlet on there. Your head, you want to have a leather helmet, but you also want to wear a plate, put a hood on. The choice is yours. Next up is character customization. And I know that this is huge. I should have led with character customization, but it's not my fault. It's in the middle of the page. It's no surprise that character customization has been lacking, especially since they redid things for U9. I know you can't play as like a green whatever guy and look horrific, but they want to call some things out. They're saying it's unlikely that the scope of character customization for U7 will return due to the technical reasons, but they wanted to at least have a section for players' faces and skin tones to represent different ethnicities, which is super important, right? You're playing a VR game and you're essentially playing as yourself. So if you can't look like yourself, you know, it's gonna fail to suspend your disbelief. So I'm all for this one. I want to make myself, right? And I'm sure everyone else wants to make themselves as well. So this is very exciting to see. And let's talk about this little side note right here, just really quickly, that they're putting out. You might have heard before that Blade and Sorcery will never have a story mode, but instead will likely lean towards some low level lore, the kind that a player pieces together from the environment rather than a narrative voiceover that spoon feeds you. Think similar to like how Dark Souls does their story. It's like all scattered about. Yes, they have cutscenes, but maybe we won't get cutscenes, but there's lore scattered about, right? Or in Skyrim, you find a book and you read about it. That's what they're going for in this one. So it says here, in this universe, the player character is not the one. Like, you're not Neo, you're not the protagonist, you're just some dude or dudess just chilling. And the world the world revolves around the player. Like, the world doesn't revolve around the player. You're a thing in this world, much like the NPCs are, but you can make your own story, and that's what's exciting. It's cool to see that you'll be able to find lore, piece it together, and who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? A quick word about the upcoming inventory system. There's nothing to preview right now about the inventory system. It's just, I think they just want to cover it, but they're working on it in anticipation of the shop and the Crystal Hunt mode. They're saying it's in early stages so the player can pick up different type of clutter, I guess, not weapons, and store them for later. So you can always pick up weapons, but right now they want you to be able to pick up clutter and props. So like the bucket, like if you're like, I want this bucket for later, I want this spoon for later, that's what we're looking for in this dungeon. Now let's talk about more dungeon stuff, right? As you guys know, I'm a huge dungeon player, and I've seen it all in the dungeon. At this point, nothing surprises me except the mod. So anything adding to the dungeon is going to be like amazing for me. So they're saying that dungeons, of course, are going to continue to grow all the way until the 1.0 release of the game. So no longer early access. And we look and taking a look here, it says the team is continuing to work on adding additional rooms to the dungeon, which thank you. We need more tile sets. That's what I'm excited for. And they have a part of the team of Warfrog working to squeeze out the best graphic fidelity out of the PCVR. There's also exciting visual improvements being made, but they're not ready for U11. So we're going to get some news on that later. But in the meantime, let's look at the gift that they gave us. In the meantime, look at this. There's a door. You can open doors now. I know. Maybe you're not as excited as me, but my brain tells me, oh my God, I can open a door. That means I can kick open the door into an enemy's face and knock them out with the door. I can put their head right here. I can open the door and have the NPC's head stick out and just keep closing it like boom, bam, boom. So... oh man. And that's what I'm talking about. The doors will of course have full physics simulation with fine hitboxes. And they know what you're going to do with those hitboxes. And then there's a VFX overhaul, you know, just adding better things, like when you're imbuing, you know, like look at this dagger. You have the electricity flowing from it. It looks cooler. The gravity has all that like woobly wobbly gravity aura coming out of it, which is cool. Interesting that they didn't show fire here in the preview, maybe because it's just not ready. Now let's talk about the animation overhaul, which is another thing that I'm just like so amped over. So they're letting us know that the animation overhaul has finally begun. Finally begun. And they're doing over-the-top changes coming from many people. They're also giving a caveat right here saying, however, you know, this is classic Blade and Sorcery right now. This next line is classic Blade and Sorcery. However, this is a huge undertaking and there is a lot to do. I am unsure exactly how much of it, of the animation overhaul, will be included in U11. It depends on how well the development goes. Now, they have said stuff like this before. Their shtick here is under promise and over deliver, which, you know, is an amazing quality of a game dev. Just to be direct and honest with you guys, the opposite, over promise and under deliver, is sad, but this is the opposite of that. So I'm excited to see what we get. They're talking about the goal. So the goal of the animation overhaul is to make the AI more responsive and defend itself better through parrying, which relies less on the, you know, the dodge jump backwards, and enemies attack animations will be improved by replacing the more derpier attack animations. And they say, and finally, some of the sillier behaviors would be ironed out, such as having AI thrust with an axe. That's just funny to see the different type of weapons. Like the AI doesn't technically know what weapon they're holding. So to see them, you know, lunge at you with a short one-handed axe, you're like, what the hell are you doing? Is, you know, I'm glad that's going to be gone. Let's look at this work in progress, and they're just saying ignore, you know, the red line. That's just for their internal tracking right now. But it's good to see the different work in progress for the animation. You know, that this man is holding that mace. He's blocking it a little bit better. Looks like he's tracking the player's weapon a little bit better. And this is an example of an enemy trying to block and riposte at the same time. Riposte, for those that don't know, is when an enemy kind of parries and instantly attacks you back, which doesn't really happen in the current build. So the ability now for the NPC to attack you back after you've done a pretty terrible swing is increasing the difficulty, which is awesome. So it's great to see the NPCs are going to be better at defending themselves. Still a work in progress, so this is not obviously the final build, but it's just cool to see what they're working on. And finally, with attack animations, they're talking about different stances. So while using things like a rapier, the AI would have a fencing stance and only use the specific rapier animations, versus the sword and shield guy will have their own animation sets as well as a dagger, so on and so forth. So that's what's exciting. It's not just like, oh my gosh, this NPC has a dagger and I know he's going to do the same 2 lunge animations, so I'm just going to decapitate him. It's, oh my gosh, they have this fighting stance, and how do I fight this fighting stance? I'm bad at fighting people with sword and shields. I'm bad at fighting people with spears. That is very exciting. And last but not least is performance. So let's just read this paragraph out. If you have been following the Blade and Sorcery development over some time, you will know that this is a perma task. However, I did want to reassure PCVR players that although we are always pushing the graphics and effects, any extra overhead is countered by performance gains. So new progress has been made on improving performance for collisions, effects, audio, as well as map optimization to reduce any strain from increasing the graphics and effects. So in summation, what they're talking about is they're making it look better while still making it perform better. So to those of you that still have their 970 Ti and are playing VR, more power to you. But what they're letting you know is they still have performance in mind while still being able to get that next layer of VR, and that in and of itself is impressive. And that's it. They're talking about the expected release date in obviously of 2022. But not a known release date. You can follow the roadmap on the link that they have. But also a special note that the PCVR version will release sooner than the Nomad. We will see the PCVR, and then sometime after we will see the Quest 2 Nomad version release sometime after, as long as, you know, there's no game-breaking bugs in U11 that will completely obliterate the Nomad version. But Greebos, that is it for today's video. We took a look at U11 and its announcements and its preview. Super exciting. Let me know what you think. Let's build more hype. We are the hype people. We're building hype. I'm so excited to see this one. You tell me what favorite feature you're looking forward to. Is it attack animations? Is it stealth? Is it customizing your character? I want to know. Throw it in the comment section down below. But other than that, thank you so much for stopping by. I'm Rob from Downloadable Content. Join the Discord, do all that YouTube stuff. But other than that, I will see you in the next video.